This is the radio and all the stuff that comes with it. It comes with some instructions that are in very poor English. You got connector here. There's a couple of these. This one and this one, we'll see which one that the Viper takes. It comes with GPS. It does have 2 USB ports here. It comes with a microphone. It comes with all forms of auxiliary input and outputs that I probably won't use. It says this is for the reverse camera hookup. I have to figure out which one of these does the reverse camera trigger. It's not very clear in the instructions. I will let you know once I figure that out. Also included is a reverse camera, as well as the wire that you need to hook it up. The dashboard's real easy to take apart. All you need is a metric Allen key set and unplug a few connectors, and everything will come apart real easy. Here's the new radio. Now it looks like that's going to be the connector I use. I think that's for like the Sirius FM satellite or whatever. We'll find out in a second. Let's see. Yeah, that is the connector. Okay, now let's give this a try. We're going to plug it in here. That connector adapter thing is kind of shit. It fits into here right, but the guts just ripped out of it. I think they made that inner diameter wrong, so it got kind of stuck, but you know, it just won't go in there, so it just don't do that. So yeah, I think the problem is the inner diameter here was a little too small, so it just wouldn't fit over this quite right, and I couldn't get the connection very good on there. Yeah, it won't go over there. They made that inner diameter a little too small, Chrysler one, so that's why it wouldn't go in there right. So if you're going to use this and you care about the antenna, then buy an adapter, because that isn't going to work. I did end up buying an adapter, and here's the part number of what I bought. Worked great. Now, as for the reverse camera, something that is kind of difficult to figure out in the instructions because they're not well written. This little connector, okay, the small one, not the little one, but the little small one here. This brown wire is your reverse camera trigger. So this needs to go to the red wire on your reverse camera wire. It took me a minute to figure that out. The instructions are kind of hard to read. I believe the orange wire is for the illumination dimming when the headlights turn on. I'm not going to hook that up. If I want to later, I might, but I just don't think it's worth it. The screen really is not very bright. I mean, it's at full brightness, and it's probably going to be kind of hard to see in certain lighting. Here's how I wired everything up. So that brown wire from that little connector that I was showing you, it was from this one. Okay, you see where I cut it off? I did a butt crimp, I'm sorry. But I crimped it in here, crimped it to that red wire that goes to the reverse camera. I taped this together just so it doesn't come unplugged accidentally. Now, something else I neglected to mention. Microphone. Yeah, and just tuck your wire, put it where you want. I put it here. That's the only place I wasn't going to hit it with my leg. It isn't great. I may have to move it, but there's plenty of slack in here that I can work with, so that'll be fine for now. So I got everything done with that. Now I did kind of poke out the USB connector there. This antenna, I'm not too worried about the signal for this because I'm going to use my phone, so I'm just going to kind of jam it in there. I don't know what else to do with it, so that's it. An installation is just reverse of removal. It's very simple. So you just kind of jam this thing back in there, tighten it down, and put everything backwards of what you saw earlier. Pretty simple. Something I wish I had shown was I had to put some shims. So I used washers, some various size nuts to bring this radio out because it was kind of cattywampus in there. So I got it looking pretty good now. It's been about a week and a half since I put the radio in. I had problems with it. Every time I used Google Maps voice command, it would crash. Sometimes it would randomly crash when using the navigation or putting in like manually where you want to go on the screen. So I contacted customer support. They sent me a file, had me put it on a USB stick, here it is, and plug it into the 6-pin, specifically the 6-pin connector that comes out of the back of this, the USB connector that you ran somewhere. Phone mounts, maybe. So anyway, once I did that, they said it would auto-update. It didn't. So, and this is what took a while to figure out, I had to go into the settings, system info, and then go to Android upgrade with the stick in. And with the stick in there, it allowed me to upgrade the system. So once I upgraded the OS, the thing's been working just fine. Now, the big question for the radio, what's the audio quality like? And I'll tell you, it's just fine. This is the same as the factory head unit in terms of audio quality. If you're looking for something better, well, this isn't better, it's the same. There's no difference audio quality. Now, you can go to the equalizer, You can go to the equalizer, which is called sound effects, and mess with the equalizer and do whatever. And it works pretty well, it's pretty easy to use. And I will say, touchscreen is really responsive on this thing. It's actually, look, I mean, it's actually pretty quick. Sound effects, and there it is right there. And look, you can drag it or whatever. I'll set it back to the metal preset. But watch, very quick response, very good unit. And it's easy to connect to your phone. All you have to do that, again, you got to go to Bluetooth and then just add a device. Here's my phone, Pixel 8 Audio. Very easy to do. Now let's look at the real reason you bought this head unit, and it wasn't this radio. Now, just so you're aware, this music thing is like built-in music or that you download, so it's basically useless. What you want is this thing. Now, after I upgraded the head unit, it's called X-Car. It was called Z-Link when I first got it, and then it updated to this name. So let's load it up, X-Car. So I would show you how the navigation works, but I don't want you to know where my address is. So here's some random part of Nashville. And you can see the screen is pretty responsive. I mean, really impressive for the price point. And like I said, if you say the word to trigger the Google thing, it will work and it doesn't restart after I have upgraded the system. And of course, I have YouTube Premium, so here's the YouTube Music thing right here. And it works just fine. It's real easy to navigate. Tap this, and then you got the music, you hit the arrow, and you can go to the library and do whatever you want, playlists and all that sort of thing. But everything works really well. Google Maps works well. Audio quality, it's the same as any car. People can hear you and understand you, but it's not like good audio quality. It's kind of hard to, it isn't the best quality. It works fine though. But I mean, overall, for $160, this is really impressive. Now, I do wish that you could buy a premium head unit that just fit right in here. That's a factory fit and all that, but they don't make a premium factory fit head unit. You would have to either modify this for a double din or live with a single din. But with a single din, you don't get the backup camera. Yeah, and that works great, actually. It's really good quality. I mounted mine under the kind of above the or below the rear diffuser, and it works great. And as soon as you take it out of reverse, it goes back to whatever you were doing. Now, I want to show you some of the settings on this radio first. Device port, that just tells you what ports you've got, what the outputs do and all that. System info is where we were. Factory settings, now I will show you this, but I don't really know what you do with it. The passcode is 8888. You go in here and you can have all these different things and stuff you can change. And I don't mess with this because I don't really know what I'm doing with it, so I just leave it alone. Car settings, this one is, I guess, if you have some kind of aftermarket amplifier. I don't know, because I have messed with those and they don't do anything, so I don't know what they're for. Android settings is just regular Android settings. We all know that. I mean, there's nothing really particularly beneficial there. Volume settings, I guess this will let you default volume it. I guess this will mute it, but I don't know why this is like that. I make the default volume. I'll make it, 16, why not? Brightness, I just leave it on full bright. The screen is not very bright, especially during the daytime, so just leave it full bright all the time. I didn't even hook up the illumination dim wire. Here's the navigation app. I've got Waze as the default. GPS detection, I guess this means something to you. Maybe it does, I don't know. It does have a GPS antenna that I haven't bothered mounting, so I'm not so sure about that. Steering learn, I guess you have steering buttons, you could use that, I don't know. Logo set, I don't really know what this does, because if you hit this, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, you can look at all this and it's like no logos found, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, so I don't mess with it. Other settings, float bar is an annoying little thing that pops up and it gets in your way all the time, so make sure you turn that off. It's irritating. The handbrake, I guess it wouldn't let you watch a video if your parking brake was on. I didn't hook that up. I don't care. I don't watch videos on my car anyway. Screen settings, I don't know exactly what that does either. It just says forced mode and then there's a check mark. I don't know. The manual didn't make that any clearer. Reverse settings, and then it says not mute off. So reverse setting not mute off check mark means that if you put it in reverse, it will not mute the audio. The way this head unit comes out of the box, it will mute the audio when you put it in reverse, which I found very annoying. So that's all the settings, and we just hit menu to go back, and there's our main screen. Now, another odd thing I had to do was I had to set the time zone on it because it kept saying I was in China, which, I guess the radio was made there. But if you go into the settings and you go into system and you go into, oops, it's doing things. If you go into date and time, turn off automatic time zone, and then select where you are. I'm in Central Time because I'm in Nashville, and there you go. Overall, I'm impressed with the head unit for the price. It works well once I updated it, and it's been doing a good job. The audio quality is good. The controls are easy to use. Like I said, I would show you navigation, but it'll show my address. Would I recommend it? I would say yes, if you want an inexpensive radio that just fits right in the car here, that has modern stuff on it. Now, how this thing will hold up over time, we'll have to see about that. I do still have my factory radio, and of course, I can just plug it straight back in here if there's a problem. Of course, if you wanted the ultimate radio for this thing, you would modify the dash and put a doubled in, but I really don't want to do that because this trim piece you're looking at is very expensive, and I don't want to buy one if I mess up. So if you have any questions about the radio or how I did something, just leave a comment and I'll answer it. It's kind of hard to get support on these aftermarket Android inexpensive radios. So just let me know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.